elections since 2000. We also do decentralization, local government work. We do work in human rights. Our human rights focus is on minorities. So we do work on HIV/AIDS legislation and policy. We do work with disability. We do work with sometimes with women, but our main focus is to be the voice and to influence the legal regimes and policy regimes for minorities or disadvantaged groups when we do human rights.
So one of the key things you just mentioned in your presentation was the importance of transparency in democratic governance. How do you assess the level of transparency in like the body politic of Ghana as well as our electoral processes so far?
You have to look at it from sort of different perspectives. If you think of democracy, the most simple terms is democracy by the people, which means the election side of it. Democracy with the people, that is the participation side of it, and democracy for the people, which is the accountability, because you are electing leaders to serve on your behalf. Citizens are electing leaders to serve on their behalf. I think if you talk about the election side of it, we've done well with our electoral democracy. We've built in a lot of transparency mechanisms, people's rights to stand and be voted for, to participate in elections. That is, the rules are transparent, everybody can do that. The election process is transparent, the election results are transparent, right from the polling station level. For the participation processes, media has been very, very instrumental. There's a lot of governance participation across the length and breadth of this country. The accountability side of it is much more of a problem. We have good laws that we haven't really implemented. So we have problems with transparency in our public financial management processes. We have problems with the actual process of service delivery, public service delivery. You don't know what the quality of service provision is or how much of it has been provided. So that is, I think, is still a weak point, and there's a lot of work to do there.
One key accountability issue that has come up is the sad demise of our former president, President John Evans Atta. And this has raised a couple of questions, one of them being whether the health status of candidates should be a public or political matter. What's your take on this?
You have to start from the premise that the president of a country or any public official is a public official. We basically, as citizens, through our taxes, pay for the president's upkeep and his welfare when that person becomes a public official. So we spend money on his medical bills if he's sick, because he's supposed to serve our interests, so we want to protect him. And therefore, it is fundamental that we know what his health status is, because any unplanned event like what has happened can be quite detrimental. And if we could have avoided it, it saves us costs, it saves us disruptions in the governance system, so on. So I think all around the world, this is a basic requirement. The health status, they go through checks, and then those checks are normal. If they have a serious problem, they are able to go to a medical clinic. Everybody knows that they've been looked after, and then the proper delegation is done so that the work of government continues. So I think our particular scenario has been unfortunately impacted by our own cultural attitudes and practice among political elites and the elites generally in this country, where they think that disclosing your health status is some sort of a taboo, something that indicates that you are not strong and you are incapacitated and you cannot do the work you are set to do. So that has really complicated our situation. But I think after what has happened with our former president, our late president, maybe people will look at this issue a little more differently.
Okay, so now looking into the crystal lens, Obviously, the NDC has changed its candidate due to the situation. What do you think are the ramifications of all this on the political landscape going towards the election?
Well, first of all, it changes everything in terms of campaigning, in terms of messaging. If you think of just the logistics alone for the NDC trying to change all the pictures of the late president on their cards and billboards and T-shirts, and that is a huge logistical nightmare, and it will come at a cost. The other thing is that the messaging then must change, because it's no more President Mills, who is John Mahama. What is his character? What does he represent? What has he done? That is a new packaging that you have to do. Though he was a vice president before, so you can't extricate him from the NDC campaign and its record in government since 2009. So those kind of things I think are going to be at play. The same for the opposition. They have now a different opponent, and so now you have to revise your rules as to how you are going to show that the president is not capable enough of leading this nation. You are capable. So there is, I think, both in terms of logistics and just the campaign strategy and so on, it will change in some ways. Whether it's significant or not, it will depend on what the strategy is meant to be.
Okay, so do you have any special message for the youth of Ghana as we are preparing for the elections, and also as we are trying to engage ourselves in political matters?
Well, if the demographics are correct, 25%, 60% of the youth of Africa are under 25. 60% of the population of Africa is under 25, and that's significant. Even if you look at the last Ghana census, which is 2000, 33% of the population was between 18 and 35. Now, it just means that we are a very youthful nation. If democracy is about majority, it's about everybody having a say, then it means that the majority of the population should get involved in determining who leads them and who serves their interests. And I think in doing that, one thing they have to remember is that they have to respect the rules of the game. They have to understand the electoral process and not allow themselves to be used by politicians for violence, or just give them wrong information. There's so much information now these days. If you go to the Kojo website, for example, you can find, this is www.kodeoghana.org. If you go there, you go to the library section, you will get all the laws that are there on elections that can inform you how elections are done, so that nobody comes to confuse you about what is happening when elections. I think people should take advantage of that, seek information. I think Blogging Ghana, there are a lot of other organizations that put information online, and you can get access to this kind of information. So I would really encourage them that they should take advantage, learn more about the process so that they can participate effectively and then vote wisely.
All right. Thank you very much for the opportunity.